Most aspects of our life have been revolutionized by technology. But one area has been particularly resistant: our buildings. Our next guest studied archaeology to better understand how people built in the past. He's pioneering new ways to link ancient knowledge with his passion to make our buildings smarter. And in the process, is creating a very exciting startup company. Please welcome Michael Driedger.
So I'd like to talk to you about change. I grew up in Saskatchewan, which is a really great place to think about change because it's very quiet and there's not much change happening. This interest in the lack of change led me to my first degree in archaeology, as Sam mentioned, because I was interested in how the human race has changed over time. What I came to realize is that the human race really hasn't changed that much, but we really do like to fight change. And I think it's because we're worried that change will alter who we are and things will be different. We're really scared of things that seem different to us. As an example of people that seem really different are my parents. My father is Mennonite, a group that is horrible at dancing but amazing at building barns. And my mother's from Trinidad, where they're amazing dancers and they don't build barns. I've come to realize that the reason they've been married for 45 years is because even though they seem really different, the core values are exactly the same. So being different backgrounds doesn't change who you are. Technology doesn't change who we are either. Right now, people fear that technological change and automation will take jobs and change their identity because they think their work basically is who they are. But technology doesn't do work. People do work. Technology is a tool, like a hammer. It takes a lot of Mennonites to build a barn, and the hammers don't swing themselves. If you need a barn, I don't recommend deviating from how they do it or trying to get a robot to do it. A hotel in Japan just fired almost all their robot staff because people just do those tasks so much better. If you don't believe me, you can Google it. It also took 65,000 people at Google using keyboards and computers to build the platforms that we're using today. People have never been so employed and needed. We use different tools to build different technologies and different things, and all of these things require us to use technology. And if you look at the scale of human history, we've spent most of our time developing stone tool technology, more than anything else. With about 2 million years perfecting stone tools, and only about 5,000 years going through various ages to get to the Iron Age that we're in today, which is really an iron, plastics, and digital age. The lines are always blurry between ages. There were stone tools until about well into the 20th century, and we went from really simple technology like this hammer, which is basically also a cutting tool, and a pretty impressive toolkit of axes, knives, and spear points. And stone tech is really great tech. There's strong evidence that we were able to use this tech to cause a species like the giant sloth and the woolly mammoth in North America to become extinct. Stone tool tech also makes a far cleaner cut than a modern metal knife. A metal knife sort of tears as it cuts, and surgeons have experimented with using stone scalpels during surgery because an incision from a stone blade heals much faster than one made by even the sharpest metal scalpel. The challenge, being almost no one is good at making stone tools anymore. For good or for bad, we've moved on. And while we've moved on and into a digital communication age, we haven't even gotten close to anywhere near mastering this digital tech. There's lots more for people to do. True mastery of technology is something like this Folsom point, which hasn't been seen or replicated in the past 10,000 years. It's clearly too big to be practical for hunting, and almost all of them found show no signs of use or wear, which means we were making them to show that we could make something this large and this thin out of something as difficult to sculpt as stone. No one in the modern era, not even a machine, can duplicate what people were doing for fun to demonstrate their skills 10,000 years ago. Sadly, the technology and the physical skills to replicate these pieces of art are gone. How they made them is a mystery. This mysterious tool has now become the highest form of art in the modern world. It's a tool used to take pictures, to edit documents, as a remote control for your home, and to summon cars automatically. It's our Swiss Army knife now. But it wasn't too long ago that we struggled with phones like this. And if you haven't seen this YouTube video, it's great. Find it. It's two 17-year-old boys are given 4 minutes to dial a number on a rotary phone. They fail. It's funny, and we laugh, because you realize how bad an interface it is compared to the phones we have today. Yet, When they were disappearing, I remember that, along with payphones, people were lamenting and fighting their extinction. But we always lament changes in technology. Being half Mennonite has allowed me to observe the stark contrasts myself between people who don't adopt tech for one reason or another, and then eventually embrace it. Many of my extended family left the prairies in the 1930s to escape technological change, traveling south until they reached Belize. This is a photo of some of my extended relatives in Belize, and a small group of Mennonite families supply 80% of the food to the country with a horse and buggy to a centralized depot where it's shipped around the country. Now, we struggle with our kids in phone usage, but when I ask my Mennonite relatives how they deal with ensuring phones don't become a distraction in the home, they say things like, well, I don't let Cornelius bring a hammer to the dinner table. He puts his phone away with all the other tools in the house. They use smartphones as their tool of choice to keep track of their buggy deliveries and to communicate to the outside world. While councils debate smart city initiatives and ways to heavily regulate these tools, they're already making our city smarter. Car sharing like Lyft and Uber is taking over from taxis because taxis are still using rotary phone tech. Airbnb makes staying and exploring parts of cities easier for visitors while putting extra income into the hands of people living in expensive cities. And driverless cars will ultimately make streets safer, and drone delivery will also take vehicles off the road to make it more friendly for scooters, like the rentable ones from Lime. Everything in this image right now is available in some form or another and completely banned in almost every single city in North America. And it's because governments are always the slowest to accept change, even though they change themselves every few years. The software operating system for guest technology that my company is building at Operto is a good example of a new set of technological tools to improve guest accommodation. Our main clients are in the Airbnb space, and they've been pushed out of cities that have banned home sharing. But make no mistake, home sharing is still happening as freely as gin flowed during the Prohibition. It's hard for people to imagine not needing physical keys, either plastic or metal ones, to enter a space and then have a digital door lock perform actions that save energy and make a guest stay more comfortable and secure. Giving up physical keys is something we haven't done since they were introduced about 3,000 years ago in the Iron Age. The benefits that Operto brings is a more secure, more transparent, more sustainable stay. Yet this Iron Age tech persists because people fight change. Sure, we've sometimes turned plastic keys into hotel keys, and that's not real change. We've probably heard how an app on your phone can open a door, but I need another app, like I need another hole in my head, and I don't want to use my phone to do everything. The goal at Operto is a human-centric interface that allows us to spend more time off of our phones. We all need a vacation from our phones. The phone doesn't need to be our tool to complete every task. There's no need to fear the change that it brings either. We just need to make sure to put our tools away when it's time for dinner. Thank you.